Hello everyone, hello, hope you're doing okay. Welcome to episode 53 of Look Back. Yes, basically where I look back at what I reviewed 1 year ago and 5 years ago and determine whether I agree with myself and just to look back at what was around then and whether things have changed, whether things are not around anymore, as I say, or whether, yeah, I don't know, just to reminisce a bit, I guess. But there we go. So, yeah, basically that's what the gist of this is. But I will also be giving away, I think I can do it, give away 10 free memberships a month. I'll give away 5 today, all going well. So yeah, so that will give you access to support level memberships, basically, where you get a free exclusive every month, and also generally some, I don't know, some perks. Basically, it might be access to a review before everyone else and things like this, or just some exclusive polls. I don't know. It depends how I'm feeling, basically. But that's the gist of it. Yes, that's what I'll be up to today. So I think I did want to mention something, but it's temporarily left my mind, so I'll come back to it later perhaps. But yeah, I think, well, what I'll do is I'll just see if I can get the graphics up and running. Basically, I've got some graphics in place that do take a bit of time to get in place. There we go. There's one of them. Basically, long story short, is I've got so many windows open. It's hard to see the individual graphics. Basically, sometimes the name of them. So I have to kind of not guess, but you know, essentially, well, basically guess. Yeah. Let's have a look. Let's see. Yes, there we go. I've fluked it so far. So right, so 1 year ago, I did do a member review, and it was the Ferrero Rocher. Let's see. It was actually the dark chocolate one. What was it officially called? Ferrero Rocher dark ice cream. So if you remember, if bronze level member above and you missed this one, that's available for you to review to see. I will put a link in the description of all the reviews, by the way, after the event. I'll go back and add them in afterwards. So yeah, if you do want to view any of these, feel free to go back and look at them. Interesting sometimes as well, because basically, as we've gone through look back. Also noticed that the difference in my reviews as well. You know, I think when I started doing them, I never used to show my face originally. I thought I just wanted to speak about the chocolate, but people, you know, tend to, well, I guess it's just generally people like looking at a face, don't they? But people tended to want to see my reaction, you know, when I ate them and things like this. So then I introduced that, then I changed my audio equipment and visual equipment. You could tell the difference then. And around 5 years ago was a big difference actually. Whereas I think previously my audio equipment wasn't that great and my syncing wasn't great and this and the other. I think basically when I think it's around this time I started introducing the what's it called, the timestamps at the start of the videos, which makes things a lot easier. And then I think about 4 years ago, I think it was, is when I got my the setup I'm using now, basically, where things are just totally a lot better. So yeah, so just it's coming to that time now where my channel started to, I'd say the standard of quality of it was a lot better. And then since then I'm also, you know, I mean, some reviews are still the same, but basically I tended to spend a lot of time on the reviews and perhaps not edit them as much. I still spend a lot of time on reviews. My average video length is probably about 10 to 15 minutes. You know, a lot of people, I don't know, are probably used to just people when they review chocolate just eating it and that's it, being a 10-second affair basically, and there's no chance I'll ever do that on this channel. I do some shorts sometimes, sometimes when I need to do a bit more of them actually. When I review, when I do a look back, more, you know, what I used to do was say which one should I turn into a short. I need to keep doing that really, so I'm going to try and start doing that again. So that is one area where I might do it. So I haven't said I'll never do it, but that's kind of a condensed review I've already done. You know, I'm not really into doing short reviews. I'm just not interested in that, basically. So there we go. So that's the gist of it. But of course, some people might like that. You know, there are channels out there who will do 10-second reviews. There's plenty of them. You know, this is it, but you won't get that here. But however, I do basically, as I say, like a caption to say here's where the summary is and this, that and the other. So if you want that, you can technically get it, I guess. So cover all bases basically, but you'll be surprised at the amount of people who don't don't see that in the screen, don't look basically, and it's also in the YouTube caption things nowadays. But of course, as I say, that wasn't there for all my reviews, so there we go. So an interesting one. So anyway, so as I say, 1 year ago, member exclusive review for bronze level members or above, can see that one. As I say, if you do get a support level membership, you won't be able to see it because you'll only see an exclusive once a month, and it'll only be for that month. So you know, there you go. But that's the way of it. I do have Patreon as well. Patreon's the same difference, basically. Yeah, but it's another website, this, that, and the other. But it is available as well if you prefer to go via Patreon as well. So there we go. But obviously the backlog isn't really there for Patreon. It's a bit difficult, you know. It's one of those. So depends what you want to do, basically. But there we are. Right, so there we go. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll jump back to, I think, 5 years ago, I think, is the gist of it. I don't know I think I normally go to 5 years first. But if I don't, that's what we're doing this time. Just because I think, let's have a look. Bit more, well, I just, yeah, because a few things to discuss 5 years ago, basically. So here we go. So the first one 5 years back, I'll try and do them in a reasonable order. Reasonable. We had roses, yes. So I basically, oh, hang on a sec. Have I Hang on, let's see what's happened there. You can see it's gone over the. Yeah, it's weird that one. Let me just. And why is that? Let me just see if I. Okay. Yeah, I think. Okay. Right. What I've done there, you can see there where the 5 years has been gone out a bit there. So what I've done, the gist of it is I've kind of saved the white background. Well, I could possibly. Well, yeah. I think we'll just go with it. We'll just go with it for now. It's not worth me fixing it. But basically, what I've done is I've also saved the white background as well. Because you can kind of see if I do that, you can. It's kind of see through. But it won't be quite as much. But anyway, we'll go with it for now. It doesn't really matter. It's not worth me fixing at this point. But basically, yeah, 5 years ago, roses. I re-reviewed these. I think I've reviewed them before. I think I've reviewed them since, but I reviewed them 5 years ago. And what did I give roses? Let me have a look. Let me have a see. Cadbury's roses. We know what they are. They're basically Cadbury's selection. It's like an all-time classic, isn't it? Roses. And I gave them a 4 out of. Hang on, that's the wrong one. Hang on. Goodness me, you know what it's like when one thing goes wrong, it throws you, doesn't it? And I put the other ones in as well. So this is it. This is the problem. You see, I need to what year? There we go, 2019. Okay. All right. There we go. All right, there we are. We're in. Goodness me. Right, yeah. So there we go. So, yeah, so 4 out of 5 ago, 5 years ago. Basically, so there's lots of varieties. Let's see. Yeah, as usually is the case. Good selection of chocolates. Let's have a look. Yeah, lots of variety. Flavors all hit the spot. There's lots of flavors in there. There was the coffee flavor back then. Actually, I think it was called. Was it Coffee Velvet or something like that? Coffee Escape. It was called. Now, when I was younger, you know, giving away my age a bit really, but back in the 80s, they did have a coffee flavor one then, and it was like it was a dome one. It was shaped and wrapped in the same way that the Strawberry Dream was. It's Strawberry Dream, isn't it? It had like a foil wrapper, and it was like a dome, sort of like a flat at the bottom but circular at the top, if that makes sense. Domed affair anyway. Looked very nice actually. Had like I think the Strawberry Dream was actually the colour of roses, so you can see that blue. If you look on the picture up here, you can see the sort of the blue background with the red rose. That was the colour of the foil, so it had like a blue background with red roses when I was younger. And the coffee one was the colours were inverted. I think instead of blue it was brown, and the roses were coloured silver. Anyway, so that took me back to my childhood, but it's since gone again, hasn't it? You know what I mean? And this is the problem with roses. I think they had a really good period around this time, maybe the time before as well, where they had just a good. They went a bit rubbish where they had literally about 4 different runny caramels, I think, at one point. And then they went to the coffee one, I think, after this, and that was kind of. But I think just before then, I think they had like a few other variants that were quite nice as well. So they've kind of just gone up and down a bit, really, is the long story short. And I think this was kind of where they'd gone sort of back up again. But I think they've kind of since gone down a bit again as well, unfortunately. So we're currently, I don't know, I don't think things are quite as good as they were then, I think. But let's see what I said in my notes. Coffee Escape was good, but there was a caramel bite in there that wasn't very good. They'd introduced a new one called a caramel bite, and it was basically a sort of wafer middle with a caramel top and bottom. It was like a chewy, wafery one. It was a bit weird, and I said it contained a bit of amaretto. It had a bit of a sort of almond taste to it. But it was no longer any dark chocolates. It got rid of the Brazilian darkness. And the chewy caramel as well wasn't as chewy as it used to be either, so that's still there. And it's now thin and long rather than wide and sort of short, I guess. And it wasn't as chewy as it used to be. It's still the case now, actually. It's just not as chewy. It's basically 4 out of 5. I don't know, roses. I don't know. I think the strength of roses is the selection box. They're nice, and it's like a sort of, it's a Christmas thing or a celebration thing, whatever you celebrate. Usually for me, it's a sort of Christmas set of chocolates. When I go to see my family and things, roses will appear. So will Quality Street as well. We'll come to that in a minute, because basically I reviewed the big 4 5 years ago. I re-reviewed them basically, so I'll come to all of them in a minute. But yeah, roses. I don't know. As I say, they've kind of reached a sort of. I feel like a 3.5 out of 5 is too low for them, because I feel like they hit the spot quite well. They're just, for what they are, they do it better than a 3.5 would imply, really. But I feel like a lot of the chocolates, none of them are really above a 3.5 out of 5 when you rate them individually. Pretty much anyway. Although having said all that, I can't remember what I reviewed them individually at the time when I did this. But that's kind of how I feel with it, really. So I don't know. I feel like the fact that they work pretty well, as I say, as a selection. I think I will give it the same 4 out of 5. But I do feel like, I don't know. I feel like they're quite sweet. As I say, the selection is not as strong as it used to be. I'll have to re-review them again at some point. It's one of those where I periodically have to re-review them again. I think I re-reviewed them probably 2 years ago, I think, maybe. So I might have to do them again, really. But yeah, we'll go with it for now. Say a 4 out of 5. But as I say, I think it's definitely closer to a 3.5 out of 5 than a 4. I feel like there's just like there's things like the fudge one in there is not that great. You know, it's not a great fudge. I think I prefer the one in Quality Street generally. You know, and I don't know, just the creams are pretty strong, but they're all, I don't know, there's just not really as much variety as I would like. Even though perhaps, having said all that, you know, I do tend to like certain ones over others, but I think I would appreciate a bit more variety in there, you know. And there just doesn't seem to really be that variety in there anymore. And sometimes they're just a bit too much. I used to always like the creams when I was younger, the strawberry and orange creams, things like this. It's been really interesting, really nice. And they still are, but I feel like I just want something else sometimes, like a palate cleanser almost, you know. And I feel like Quality Street has that really. And I didn't used to be a big fan of Quality Street generally, but nowadays, you know, I feel like they do hit the spots in certain different ways that I think I'd want from a chocolate selection, which is why this one might be a 3.5 out of 5 as opposed to Quality Street, which we'll come to now. Let's see if we can get rid of all these graphics that we've got in here. Let's see if I can do it. It's easy said and done sometimes. It's all over the place, you know. All right, anyway, okay, let's go back up. So let's do Quality Street now, why not? There we go, so Quality Street 5 years ago. What did I give Quality Street 5 years ago? Well, I actually gave them 3 out of 5, Quality Street. I said it was more varied than Roses, so I did acknowledge that at the time. And it has some dark chocolates in there as well. Still does, actually. It's got the coconut eclair, things like this. But I thought it was very average. Now, there was too many toffees at the time. You know, I was talking about one time where Cadbury's Roses had too many caramels. At the time here, Quality Street had too many toffees. Had too many like caramelly ones. There was like the toffee. There was a fudge finger, whatever it's called, finger of fudge, whatever. There was a toffee penny. There was also a toffee deluxe in there at the time. And I think there was a big controversy there where they got rid of it and then they brought it back and then they got rid of it again. I think they got rid of it apparently just to cause a commotion, which it did do. But then they brought it back, but then got rid of it again soon after. You know, but it was too much. There's just too much. There's too many of them anyway. I think really. I feel like I don't know, the fudge one and the toffee penny, they're just quite similar anyway. I don't know, but I don't mind them having said all that, but they're just a bit too similar really. I feel like I need to sneeze. Okay, it's gone. But yes, so I don't know. I'm on the fence there. I do quite like them, but I do find them a bit boring. You know, the ones that like usually left towards the end really. I always said that I don't mind them too much, but I don't know. I'm not convinced really. I feel like there's perhaps maybe better just one of them. I don't know. I don't like the orange cream in Roses too much. I feel like it tastes like children's cosmetics and Calpol if you live in the UK. I feel like it tastes like that. It always reminds me of that. I don't know. It's just a bit too. Yeah, I don't know. A bit. It just comes across that way. But having said all that, I think if I had the choice nowadays, even though I think on paper I kind of like Roses sort of more in a weird way, but I kind of like the variety of Quality Street a lot more. I feel like it's just got a lot more variety in it, and I feel like it's nicer to go from one to another. And there's like a chocolate block in there. It's literally just a block of chocolate, but it's actually really nice. It's actually one of my favourites in it. I don't know why, but it just really hits the spot. I don't know, it's just something about it, and I really like that one. I think maybe it's just like a block of Yorkie almost. I don't know, but it's just really nice, and I think it's almost better than the dairy milk in Roses, to be honest with you. It just seems to be really, it just does what it does very well, and I quite like the vanilla fudge. I think it's just called fudge now, but I'm sure it used to be called vanilla fudge in this one. The fudge it's not quite. I feel like it's not as chewy as it was. I had it just the other day actually. I bought some when friends were coming around, and this is why I bought the Quality Street over Roses, which I would never do in the past. But I felt like it just had a nice. I don't know, yeah, it's just quite nice. It's not chewy enough, I think. I feel like it used to be chewy, and I would prefer if there was a slight bit more chew in it. But I don't know, it's very nice. And it's got a few other things. The orange sort of bite thing in there, orange cream, whatever it's called. The orange bite one, there's the one with like crunchy bits in. Perhaps it's a bit too. I prefer if it was solid chocolate, I think. But it's like a creamy centre almost, like a pralini, truffly centre rather. But they do have a coconut one. They have I'm sure the strawberry cream one is a dark chocolate. They have a runny caramel Brazilian one as well with Brazil nut in there. I just have a bit more variety, I think. There's a coconut one, as I say. If I didn't mention that, I think I did. I see like the green triangle praline one as well. There's just a bit more variety in this one, to be honest with you. So I think for me, this one, I was being a bit harsh here. I think it's certainly on the par of Roses, if not better. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. Definitely better than the 3. But at the time, as I say, things were different then. You know, there are too many toffees in there, things like that. But nowadays, yeah, it is a bit. It is I think it's probably better than roses. I feel like there's just a variety in there. There's palette cleansers in there. There's ones that you can go like in roses individually. You might think they're all great, but the thing is, going from one to another, it's too similar. You know, you don't. There's no let up, and you think I want something that tastes a bit different, really. And as you know, there are a couple that's a bit different, but not different enough or varied enough. There's like it's because they're sort of a bit more normal, like a dairy milk or something. You know, it'd be nice if there was like a dark chocolate one in there, like even if it was just a Bourneville one I used to have when I was younger, or just something a bit different. But they're all just a bit too similar, so you can't really. They just all taste too similar. Whereas in Quality Street, there's a bit of a difference, and it means you can kind of move around the box a bit more. And I think that's just a lot more interesting, really. But so let's do a bit of a poll. See what people think. Let's see. I can only do two options in this poll. It's really annoying, but let's see which is better. Let's have a look. Roses. It's Nestle, isn't it? To Quality Street. All right, let's have a see. Let's have a look. See what people think anyway. So if anyone's around, yeah. What do we think? Cadbury Roses, Nestle Quality Street. See what people think is the best one. So there we go. We shall see what the public reckon. All right. So there we go. So that was what I did. So you can imagine what the other two probably are. It's the other two of the big four. Although I do sort of sometimes argue that Terry's chocolate sensations are also in there, maybe. But I think maybe that just might be me. You know, but I think the big four are definitely Roses, Quality Street, Heroes, and Celebrations. I think Miniature Heroes is what they call when they first came out. I'm really struggling to find the ratings this today. Oh, it's because I've already took them off. Okay, all right. So let's do the next one then. Which one do we start with? What do we reckon? Let's do. Well, Heroes comes first on the list, so why not? Heroes, yes. So Cadbury Heroes. So this is basically another one from Cadbury. Cadbury Roses obviously make roses as well. But they make Heroes, and Heroes is their kind of regular chocolate selection, so it's miniature versions pretty much of their regular chocks. So we have things like Whisper in here, have just dairy milk, of course, fudge as well. There's a cream egg one, I think Cadbury caramel in there. There's also, you know, there's a couple of duffers in this one. The eclairs I really wish weren't in there. I just don't appreciate those ones at all. It's not I hate them or anything. I can eat them, but I just really wish they weren't in the set. I don't know why. They just don't appreciate them at all. And also the fudge as well, which is Cadbury fudge is basically a kid's chocolate that's, you know, really mundane. It's just not a great chocolate, really. I don't dislike them, and you know, not, but they're just a bit boring. I just want something a bit more interesting. Now the problem with Heroes is a bit like Roses, is they're all quite similar. They're all quite sweet. I mean, what did I give it 4 years back? Let's have a look. I gave this one 4 again, another 4. At the time, I think they just introduced Dinky Deckers and Crunchy Bites, I think it was, as well. I don't know what they removed from there, but they did used to have things like Cadbury Fuse and Time Out, which have gone over the years. They've just removed those bars completely now from them. They don't sell them anymore in the UK. But they were great ones. I think Fuse as well was one of those with sultans and things a bit different, or raisins. But you know, they've kind of reduced again, you know, they're all quite similar. There's a couple of duffers in here. I'm not a massive fan of the cream egg one as well. The what it's called now. I can't remember what it's called now. Yeah, I can't remember. It's called something. It's not quite called cream egg, but it's twisted. That's it. Cadbury Twisted. So it's kind of got a cream egg centre, sort of. But I don't know. The chocolate on it's a bit poor, really. So I wish it was like kind of like a dairy milk one, you know. But they do have twirls in there. Twirls are probably the best ones in this. Dinky Deckers are nice, a double decker, but smaller. When you double them up, I think. Strangely enough, so you kind of almost do get a double decker, quadruple decker. I don't mind Whisper. I'll say I don't mind them all really, but I don't know. Some of them just don't quite. I don't know what it is. They're not quite as good as they used to be really for me. So I think, you know what, I feel like I'm going to mark this one down really to 3.5 out of 5. I kind of wish they'd get rid of the eclairs. I wish they'd get rid of the fudge and do something else. You know, I really wish they'd just add something else, or maybe just add a bit of variety elsewhere. I wish they'd throw in maybe a Cadbury White or a Cadbury Bourneville in there. You know, maybe get rid of those two and have them in there. Just a bit of variety in there, really. I don't know. I feel like it just needs. Yeah, I don't know. That's why I would kind of do. Although I don't think I'll be improving it that much. I don't know, but it definitely feel like it needs some work. Basically, something not quite spot on with it. I don't think is the gist of it. But there we go. That's the case of that one really. So obviously, as you can probably imagine, we're going to go now to Celebrations. And why not? So let's just get rid of the graphics. Let's have a see if I can. I always struggle with this now. I should be an expert with these, but there we go. There you go. Celebrations as well. So this is kind of like I guess it's in Mars. I think it's Mars, isn't it? So these ones are similar to Cadbury Heroes, except they've got things like Galaxy in there. So it's Galaxy and Galaxy Caramel. They've got Bounty in there, Mars, Snickers, Twix, the big three, big four even if you count Galaxy as well, as I say. Milky Way's in there, Maltesers. You know, they used to have I think Twix was in and then went out again. But they used to have what was it called? I can see it, but I can't remember the name of it. Basically, a Snickers but with walnuts in, hazelnuts rather than walnuts. But I forgot what it's called now. Topic, that was it. You used to have Topic in there. You used to also have a Galaxy Truffle in there, which was really nice and interesting, although it'd be a bit more mundane nowadays. The Malteser Teaser came out separately, but it didn't used to be a separate bar. It used to be only available in Celebration. So basically, they've kind of gone a bit more mundane as time's gone on, but they're still nice actually, and there's still something about them where little Snickers and things are quite nice. You know, it's not too bad really, these set of chocolates. They're better than you think they'd be, and if I say with the Bounty in there, things like that, they've got a bit of variety in there. And I used to dislike things like the Bounty, and the other ones and Milky Ways that tends to be left towards the end, but they're actually not too bad, you know, believe it or not. So what did I give this at the time? Let's have a look. I gave this this is a lot of people's favourite, surprisingly enough. 3.5 out of 5 I gave this. What do I think? Is it, you know, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit like Heroes, but probably, I feel like the chocolates in this one are just a bit, even though they're not too bad, I feel like they are still a bit mundane. That's the problem with them. They're just a bit mundane. There's nothing really exciting about a Mars bar, I don't think. I mean, there's nothing really exciting about Twix or a Snickers, or any of these chocolates particularly, even though they're not too bad. And I think that's the problem with it. None of them really are that exciting, I don't think. Like if you go to the Cadbury Heroes, I feel like there's a couple in there that are relatively a bit more exciting than these ones. You know, maybe the Wisp one, maybe even Twirl. I don't know. There's something a bit more interesting about them. Whereas all these ones are just very, you know, they're very mundane. You know what I mean? They really are. So there's just no real excitement for this one at all. But as I say, a lot of people, when I've asked them in the comments, have said this is their favourite. I'm not. I don't know. I think for me, as I say, I think for me, 3.5 out of 5 is about right. I think. I feel like it's just, you know, it's certainly close to a 4 than a 3, that's for sure. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those, I think, where it's just a bit too, yeah, a bit too normal. I think is the gist of it, a bit too normal. But there we go. There we are. All right, so that was it for 5 years back. So let me know, let me know what you think of these ones, whether you like these ones or not. I mean, I say, which is your favourite? They're an interesting set. They are a bit of an interesting set of chocolates, but as I say, I feel like they're good at being a selection, if you know what I mean. I feel like that's the strength of them, really. Just the fact that you've got a selection of a load of stuff, you could just take what you want. It's just easy. People can take what they like, and I think that's kind of the thing with them, really. And I think if it wasn't for that, I don't know. I feel like it'd be, you know, a bit more. I don't know. I feel like their rating might be a bit lower, but again, you know, that is just the way they are, isn't it? There's not much you can do about that. It's just that's the strength of them, and that's why they're kind of pretty good, really. All right, so let's have a look. So yes, let's do 1 year ago then. We've gone to 1 year ago now. So what do we have? So we had a bit less of the selections 1 year ago. Let's have a look if we find it. So I had these ones. Yes, Turkish Delight cherry mini bars, basically. So I did review the Turkish Delight full bars as well. These are the mini ones, and surprisingly, these ones were just not anywhere near as good as the full size ones. Give them a 2.5 out of 5. I think the full size ones were a good 4 out of 5. I'm not a big fan of Turkish Delight generally, but the cherry ones really hit the spot for me. But they've got a lovely aroma, things like this. It's a great Turkish Delight flavour as well, being cherry. But the milk chocolate doesn't really go with cherry, really. I think dark chocolate's a lot better. And I feel like it kind of worked in the full-size bars somehow. I think just because there wasn't as much milk chocolate to cherry ratio. But in the smaller ones, it was really quite obvious that it just didn't work together, basically. So I think dark chocolate would have been better. So that was kind of the gist of it, you know. It was a bit of a shame that. It was a bit of a shame, but yeah. So I think essentially I think that's probably about right. I don't think I'm going to change it. I think it was a 2.5 out of 5, I think, is the gist of that one. Bit of a shame. I usually quite like smaller versions of things like these mini ones, but as I say, in this case, it was just the milk chocolate was just too much of it, and it just clearly just wasn't good enough with the Turkish Delight, basically. It's a bit weird as well, the texture of it. It's almost like with Turkish Delight. Sometimes I feel like it should be cold. I don't know. It feels like it's a bit too warm sometimes for what it is. Maybe it's just because jelly usually cold. It's a bit similarish consistency. But tell you what, let's give away some memberships as well. Now you do have to opt in for these memberships. So I think it's if you click on the it's on the join button underneath the video, you'll see it says join. And you click on, I think, three dots or settings, and it gives you like gifting options. And I think you can opt in. It's like a slider basically. So yes, say this every week. So I'm gonna do. Let's see if I can do it. Maybe I can. Can I gift some memberships? Yes, I can. Yes. So as I say, give me about 5 seconds to opt in. You know, say it every week. So hopefully you'll have done it by now, regular viewers. But yeah, you've got to opt in basically. So there we go. So all right, okay. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Let's gift a few. Let's see how we're doing. Who we're going to win? Can I even see? Let's have a look. All right. So yeah. Okay. Deanly Dean. Okay. So Dean Deanly. The gifty one. Tracy Holly as well. Tracy, not seen you for a long time. Tracy, hope you're doing well. Yes, and Huffy as well. Huffy I've not seen for a while as well. And Georgie's won again. Goodness me, Georgie, what's going on? I promise Georgie's not getting any preferential treatment, but pretty much every second time she wins a membership. I don't know how she manages it, but she does. And Andy's edits as well. Andy's won a few times also, so yeah. But I think you Deanly Dean, Tracy Holly and Huffy as well, and definitely not won it before. And I've been around on the channel before, so congratulations to all 5 of you. Yeah, it's great stuff indeed. So I hope you enjoy your membership and exclusives. But goodness me, Georgie, you're very lucky with this. Great stuff. Yeah, great stuff indeed. But good to see. As I say, the 5 of you there. As I forgot, Huffy's been a while since I've seen Huffy on the channel. Trace Holly was quite prominent at one point, but then disappeared a bit. But I think Deanly Dean I've not seen before. So yeah, leave a comment, Dean, if you're about. It'd be good to hear from you. Good to hear from all of you, of course. But you know what I mean. Right, so let's have a see. Okay, so let's disappear back from this. What's the next one from 1 year ago? So these ones as well, yeah. So the Cadbury, which was it? Dream Raspberry Bites. This is an Australian pot. Got it from B&M, I think. Basically, it's like a Cadbury Dream white chocolate, essentially. But what it had had like a sort of raspberry flavour candy pieces. They're very vivid red, these candy pieces. That was the gist of it. So what did I give them? I gave them a 4 out of 5. I gave them basically. So I thought it worked pretty well. I thought the raspberry flavour worked very well with Cadbury white chocolate. I thought it worked very well. But the raspberry pieces, unfortunately, were a bit too hard. And it stuck a bit too much in your teeth. If it was like a soft candy. Now I did do like I didn't do a sort of Cadbury Dairy Milk version of this, but with strawberry, I think. And I think it had strawberry jelly pieces. I think it was a nice one. I'm sure it was. I'm trying to think because I did the cream one as well. So I'm wondering if I've misremembering this, but that kind of worked a lot better. I felt. I did. Yeah, I don't know if it's that or another, but anyway, they did something along those lines. And I thought that worked a bit better. This one, yeah, just a bit too hard, just a bit too chewy. It's just a bit too hard. You know, sometimes we have like these chewy bits and they're just a bit much. So I think for me, I did enjoy that, and I feel like it's probably the same, to be honest with you. I think a 4 out of 5. I think like 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5 might be a bit too low for it. But I think it's probably closer to a 3.5 than a 4.5. But the fact that the raspberry and the white chocolate worked so well together, you know, I think that was the key for this one. I think, yeah, to be honest with you. So there we go. Well, nice one indeed. That. Okay, what else do we have going? What else do we have? Let's have a look. If I can, again, I keep moving the wrong way, I think. Okay, there we are. All right. Okay, so what else do we have 1 year ago? Let's have a look. We had, oh, this one, yeah, remember this one? This was a bit hyped, wasn't it, for the time? It was Nestle Quad Street Collisions. So they kind of, I think at the time they'd done a sort of like bar version of a few of their sort of Quality Street sort of chocolates. So they'd done one of the, I think it was the Orange Bite, Orange Crunch, whatever it's called, and did one of the, what was it one they did? Was it the strawberry one? I don't think it was the strawberry one. I think it was the green. One of the other ones. I think it was the purple one, wasn't it? I think, strangely enough. And yeah, so basically, then they did a Munchies one as well, which was kind of the same bar, but just that was branded Munchies, and obviously had crunchy bits in, but it's kind of the same as the other ones, really. Strangely enough, I don't know why why they didn't do one for all the others. Why did Munchies? Strangely one Munchies as well. They've done a lot of limited edition Munchies stuff, but I don't know. I feel like they've never quite. I don't think Munchies really deserve. I like Munchies, and I feel like they really. Sort of like I don't know, better than some of the parts, but I don't think it's like a popular Nestle product. But nonetheless, they keep sort of releasing limited edition versions of it and things. But anyway, this was one they did. I don't know if they do these bars anymore because they were all a bit rubbish. And this one was well, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 basically. Let's see if I can find it. 3.5 out of 5. Basically, it is a combination of possibly the two most popular chocks from Quality Street, which spoke of before, the green triangle and the hazelnut, the purple one, whatever it's called, which is a caramel with hazelnut in the middle. But I thought the problem was, I thought they actually sort of like merged together quite well. Actually, the caramel hazelnut praline go quite well together and taste pretty nice actually. But the problem with it was, and I don't know whether this is a problem, but they just don't really remind you of either of the individual products. There's no whole hazelnuts in there either, and there are chopped hazelnuts in there. But they got a bit lost with all the filling, see all this other stuff going on. And despite being quite a lot of chopped hazelnuts, you just didn't really get them. Just a bit too much going on in it really, and I don't know. It basically just wasn't as good as either of the chocolates individually. I thought that was the gist of it. I mean, to be honest with you, these are not my favourite Quality Streets, but I feel like just Quality Street fans just wouldn't really be that bothered by this and be a bit disappointed. So I think 3.5 out of 5 was quite interesting. I think I think that's probably about right. I think it kind of did do what you'd expect it to do, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't really work as well as it should have done, I think. I don't know. I think people would have just preferred. I think the thing with all these Quality Street bars they did, people would just have preferred an actual bar that really was a version of the Quality Street sweet, rather than some kind of variant of it or some kind of weird approximation of it. And I think that's the problem. They released these bars that just weren't very good, and they weren't really representative of the sweet particularly. They just was something, that could kind of be related to the chocolate that it was based on, but not enough for it to please anyone. And this is kind of the case with this as well. But it was quite a big bar as well. It was about a good 150 gram bar or something. Well, it was certainly big. I don't know how big it was, but it wasn't a small bar anyway. It was a big big bar. That big or whatever. So an interesting one, yeah. All right, so then we had the Cadbury Breakaway Mint. So Breakaway was basically Time Out was still available in Australia, from Cadbury Australia, for quite some time. But eventually they got rid of it and just called it Breakaway. So Breakaway in the UK is something else. I think they've got rid of Breakaway in the UK now, haven't they? It's like a sort of biscuit bar, wasn't it? A snack bar, which was quite nice, but they've stopped it now, discontinued it. I think Nestle did it, didn't they? So like a sort of digestive covered with chocolate, almost, pretty much in a rectangle form. So Breakaway is not that. It's basically Time Out is the gist of it. So this was sort of dairy milk covered wafer. Now dairy milk in Australia is not as good as the UK one. It's a bit more similar maybe to Twirl chocolate. It's not bad, but I actually really enjoyed this one. I'm surprised actually looking back because I don't recall it particularly much, but I gave it actually a 5 out of 5, believe it or not. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It's a strange one because I say it slipped my mind. This one, not usual for a 5 out of 5 bar to slip my mind, but this one did. And basically, I thought it just had a wonderful set of textures. It obviously has wafer in there, and it's got like a mint cream in there. And the mint flavour's the right strength, and the mint cream worked really well with the wafer. The dairy milk was not great, but it didn't need to be because of the mint flavour either, so it didn't matter, it would have probably got over, outshone or not quite worked very well with the mint flavour. So it was sufficient, it was good enough, and I thought just everything just worked really well. The mint flavour, as I say, the mint cream, the wafer, chocolate, it was all quite chunky. It's a big chunky bar, this one for sure. I'd say, but unfortunately it's a weird one because it just slipped my mind, this one. I feel like, I don't know, it didn't stand out too much in my mind. So I'm tempted to mark it down a bit for that because I thought if it was really that good I would have remembered it, but I don't know. I think it's not normal for me to to give something like this a 5 out of 5 unless I really thought it was a 5 out of 5. So I think I'm going to have to trust myself with this one, to be honest with you. So I think I will keep it as a 5 out of 5. Because as I say, I feel like there's not other sort of breakaway bars and something I've kind of been a bit disappointed by, to be honest with you. There's been a few issues with them, one reason or another. But for me to rate this one a 5 out of 5, I think there must have been something pretty special about it, to be honest with you. So I will stick with that. Yes, there we go. So yeah, there we are. So I didn't get much. Not bad. I don't know what's going on today. I think a lot of people are out and about, I think, today. But anyway, well, whoever voted for Nestle Quad Street won the poll, basically. Yeah. So there we go. So Nestle Quad official. There we go. Official. Nestle Quad Street is the best one. There we are. Goodness me. So there we go. Yes, I hope everyone's doing all right. Anyway, so that's pretty much to start turning the lights off. I think that's pretty much it for this one this week. So we did 4 of each 5 years ago, this year ago, as I say. Quite an interesting one. So what I will do is I'll put all the put all the links for all these in the description after the event, after I finish the live. It's an interesting one, that one. So quite some good good products really. And I'd say Quad Street, Roses, Celebrations, and Heroes are ones I'll probably keep coming back to every now and again just to re-review them because they change over time. Things like this, they're a good one to review. They're usually around Christmas as well. People start buying them over celebrations, so they're a good one to sort of come back to. I think always good to, as I say, see what's changed in this, that, and the other, if anything, of course. But there we go. So there we are. But yeah. But there we are, guys. Hope you enjoyed that look back. Bit of an interesting one. I'll say some interesting ones there. Especially that Breakaway Mint as well. If you do see that one, definitely give it a go. But that Collisions one, necessarily Quad Street Collisions, I think that just came and went, didn't it, basically, those Quad Street bars. You might see them every now and again in B&M. I think it's just old stock they're trying to get rid of, I think. I'm not sure, but they certainly don't seem to have caught on, do they? But you never know, they might come out again, but around Christmas time or something. But we are seeing Christmas chocolates appearing now, and I've not seen them yet, so we shall see. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Take care, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Alright, bye for now. See ya.